Greetings and salutations, YouTube. Friar Chuck here, and I am very excited to bring you the second character in our Skyrim universe. This one is the Inquisitor Kelriel, the son of our Blade Kalendor, who, of course, has been the main character in the last 4 Skyrim episodes we've uploaded. So, without further ado, let me read his intro, and then we will get uh, more into what he's about. So, the Inquisitor. I'm not so deluded as to think that mine was the worst childhood a kid could ever have. I was always well fed, at a warm house, and was well educated. Parental love and affection, however, that was much harder to come by. I'm sure my parents did love me, but they never showed it. They were very rarely home. At least one of them was always gone on some mission. I'm sure they thought they were doing me a favor by always making sure one of them was home, but as far as I was concerned, they could have both been gone. When the Thalmor called for the systematic execution of all members of the Blades, I seized the opportunity. I was able to catch my mother by surprise, relieving her of her head before she knew what had happened. Unfortunately, my father came home and saw what I had done before I fully had a chance to realize it myself. He caught me off guard and was able to knock me out. Coward couldn't even bring himself to kill me. When I awoke, I took my father's sword and my mother's head to the Thalmor. They were happy to accept me into their ranks and allow me to keep the sword as a trophy. For years, I trained and carried out missions for the Thalmor, all with the hope that I would meet my father again. Eventually, I couldn't wait any longer and sent a message about the dragons in Skyrim that I knew would find its way to him. Okay, so we talked about in Kalendor's story how he had received a notice that the dragons had returned to Skyrim. He didn't know for sure where it came from, but he did receive the note, and it turns out it actually came from Kelriel, his son, who is now a full member of the Thalmor. He is an Inquisitor for him. And yes, I realize we have another character using a blade sword. We won't use that forever. That is just his temporary weapon. It is actually his father's sword, and it is enchanted. It has the soul trap enchantment on it. So he will be using that as well as destruction spells. So he is a spell sword, elemental flare and choking grasp. Kind of the idea that he's looking to cause as much pain as possible when he's using his magic as part of his interrogation techniques. But yeah, this is him. So basically, for Kelriel, he was sent to Skyrim. Um, he hasn't been in Skyrim terribly long. I don't know why my hand came up. That's weird. He came to Skyrim on orders about specifically he's here for the dragons. Um, he with his father or both of his parents being blades, they kind of assumed that he would have known more about the dragons than anyone else, so they sent him. And he wasn't going to tell them because he knew this was an opportunity to meet his father again and, complete his ultimate goal, which of course is to kill his father. Um, but so yeah, he's kind of taken up that the mantle of finding out everything that he can about the dragons and also to root out any potential Blades members. The Thalmor think that there might be some living in Skyrim still, so that's part of his mission too. So he's going to kind of look high and low for them. Yeah. So some of the idea for this character, he's actually going to make his way to Helgen. That's where he was sent to. Some of the idea for this character was really my two biggest motivations were Tomura Shigaraki, the main villain in My Hero Academia, and Anakin Skywalker during Order 66. So, not like post Padme being dead, Darth Vader But just like that section of Revenge of the Sith, after he disarms Mace Windu, literally, and during the fight with Obi-Wan, when he's just like completely full of hate and he's executing younglings in the Jedi Temple. Um, that hatred is kind of what goes through him, and the same thing with um, Shigaraki. Whereas Shigaraki saw it was for him, it was the heroes that he viewed as the problem. Uh, Kelril views the we need to be going south. He views it more as the blades are the source of his problems, and he is in he's in the Thalmor specifically just to further his personal goals. He doesn't care about the um, he really doesn't care about the war. He doesn't care about people's worship. He just wants to be able to hunt down his father and any other Blades members that he might possibly find and take them out as well.
You're interfering with official Thalmor
Oh
business.
yeah, whatever. So yeah, we are gonna make our way down to Helgen, and we will we'll get that whole scene to play. I'll do the thing with the dragon too, except that he won't actually be a part of it, unlike his father. So Kalendor really is a lawful good type of character, whereas Kelril is like a true evil. Um, I really think for him, he thought what he wanted was to kill his mother, and he still thinks that, but it like seriously scarred his psyche, and so that's why he's so interested in just inflicting pain when uh, he's in a fight or whatever. He's became very gifted at interrogations for the Thalmor. But yeah, so I hope y'all. I don't have as many like I have goals in place for this character and like how he will align with um some other or how he will align with his father and how they will collide. But like early on, I don't necessarily have the. I don't know what's this. This is from some mod, but I don't know what mod it is, and I don't know what it's supposed to be because there's just these stones here, and then blood. We follow the blood. Kelril is also very young as far as high elf standards go. He was only 18 uh, when he killed his mother. Our main skills with him are going to be uh, we may do some conjuration, but it'll really be a lot of destruction, one-handed, and light armor will be the will be the things for him. He's not going to get into smithing. He's not going to do enchanting. Um, I think that's more of a, it's kind of a why should he? There's people that are trained to do that, so he'll just make them do it for him. Like I don't think he put the enchantment on the sword himself. I'm sure there was another member of the Thalmor that did it for him. I mean, it's not even smithed up or anything. I don't know if we'll be able to do this or not, but and like as far as bandit camps go, for Kalendor, he would take out bandits because they're a scourge and they're hurting people. For Kelril, he's doing it because basically they're pissing him off. They're in his way. Because he's obviously not the least bit concerned about hurting people. Um, Light armor is at 6. I'm using the this is the Old Mary anti-mage regalia that was part of the when they switched the Skyrim sponsored mods. I was just gonna use robes, and then I remembered that this was in the game, and I was like, okay, well we'll do that. Um, uh, yeah, as far as his orders go, I think it would be basically, okay, this spell's gonna do a little more damage, I think. Oh no! Oh, we made it through all of them except for the chief, and we could have defeated him if I wouldn't have gotten hit. Okay, first death. I don't actually know that we've died with Kalendor, but we're also in a lot easier area of the map with him. We're in the starting area, whereas with Kelril, we are. You're not supposed to be in Solitude till a lot later on. Bandit resisted Soul Trap. Well, he was already dead, so probably why. Ignore my aim. Magic potions. Uh, was I? Oh yeah, his orders in as far as in Skyrim. I think he's kind of been given free reign. He's been he's been a good soldier for him, so they want him to go forth and kind of get. He needs to be more experienced too, because they know that he's very young and pretty naive. Ooh, jump, jump, jump. Maybe get somewhere where he can't hit me. That'll work. And we get him this time. We just have to switch spells. And I talked about wanting to get, his spells are. His spells essentially are ones designed to cause pain. And if you really think about the elemental bolt that does fire, lightning, and frost damage, all of that hitting you at once, I imagine that is terribly painful. Um, but yeah, specifically, I think the things they would have told him as far as his directions would be, anything that improves the station of the Dominion, um, and hurts the Empire because and we've gotten into this before with Kalindor and I think and how there's another one. Hello. And how really the Stormcloak Rebellion is better for the Aldmeri Dominion than it is hurting them because it weakens the Empire. And realistically, the Stormcloaks couldn't in a million years stand up to the full might of the Thalmor and the Aldmeri Dominion. So I think like if he sees a Stormcloak trooper or something, or just encounters Imperial soldiers on the road, I think it's fair to say um, that he would take them out and try and help the Stormcloak. I've got my mic in a different place. I hope y'all can hear me okay. I think it should be fine. I don't have the game volume turned up terribly loud, and that may actually need to come up some. This could be a right there is probably good. Go there, and then go there. No, we'll go there. Okay, this should be fine. And we'll approach whenever we come across a a path that we can choose something, or whether we'll take it with that lens. Okay, would it help or hurt the Aldmeri Dominion, or would it help or hurt the Empire, or would it help or hurt the Stormcloaks? And I really think as far as the Aldmeri Dominion is concerned, they don't necessarily want an end to the war either. I think they'd rather it drag on and on and on, because the longer it goes, the weaker both sides get, and the easier it is for them to come in and intervene, or just finish off either side. Okay, nearly to level 31. Means we'll have a destruction upgrade, which we will take. Am I on? I'm guessing I am because that one guy. Yeah, we're on expert. Okay. We need to be going east. I am going to be doing this game with this series. I think I am going to go ahead and use less fast travel. I can't see a situation where I would just absolutely feel the need to use it. Like, if we were doing if he was the Dragonborn or something, I would, once I got to High Hrothgar for the first time, I would use it to get back and forward up there. Just because it takes forever and it's not interesting. But really, the travel in this game doesn't take that long. We will be going and exploring various things in this game, so, or I'm gonna try to, because I have a really big thing, like with even with Skyrim and Fallout and everything. I don't explore nearly as much as I should. Okie dokie. So we will increase our magicka, and yes, we already have 190 magicka at level 2. That's from two things. We are using classic classes and birth signs. We picked the mage birth sign, which gave us an extra 30 magic, and then being a high elf, we got 50 extra from the start. So we're pretty set as far as magic is concerned. Um, and I also, because we picked warrior with Kalendor, so I think being in direct juxtaposition to that is a pretty. I think that's a pretty big deal. We will take Destruction Mastery, and I will be taking all of these perks because um, the Elemental Blast spells actually benefit from all three of the Fire, Shock, and Frost perks. So it'll up the damage, and then the Raw Power, that'll be for the dead body. He's absolutely got no problem with. Okay, I guess this is permanently locked now. Oh, poison, I guess, for the rats. Well, it didn't work, okay? Unless he's got the key hanging up somewhere. I don't think so. Shroud of the Grey Fox. Okay. Okay. That's neat, I guess. But yeah, I have specific things that I want to do. So it's a dead wolf. I do have specific things I want to do with this character that will line up, you know, that will be very much against what he's what his father's doing. So, like for instance, the obviously his father would be very much against Mehrunes Dagon because he's, you know, he was alive during the Oblivion Crisis and helped fight him during that and everything. So I mean, just put two and two together as to what that would mean, you know. Um, I'm not gonna kill the deer. I don't think he'd have a problem with it, but I'm just not going to. I do already have ideas for other characters, so let me know, I guess, if y'all would rather me keep it Forsworn Camp. I kind of want to go in there just to kill him and, you know, get experience. But I think the Forsworn, they might say, are kind of off limits because they're going to be something that's fighting against the Nords, and I don't know. Leave. Okay, so two things in the comments. Where do you think the Thalmor would stand on the Forsworn with the idea that we've presented of they actually want the Stormcloaks to win, so that it makes the Empire weaker? Would they just go ahead and kill them because they're all Daedra worshipping heretics, or would they leave him alone to keep Skyrim in a bigger place of turmoil? Because, like, if you think about everything that's going on in Skyrim right now, it's pretty rough out here. You've got the civil war going on between the Stormcloaks and the Imperials. The Forsworn are trying to rise up again in the. We'll just take everything that is going on and can happen in Skyrim while if you do all the things in the game. So you've got the dragons, obviously. That's a problem. You've got the civil war between the Stormcloaks and the Empire going on. That's a problem. The Forsworn are trying to rise up and gain prominence again after Ulfric wiped them out of. After Ulfric wiped him out of. What's that place? Markarth. You've got the Eye of Magnus that they uncover in uh, Sarthal. Is that what it is? Sarthal. That's a big deal. The Dark Brotherhood is planning an execution on the. I'm going to take that. That's worth a lot of money. The Thieves Guild are gaining prominence in the Hold again. So that's a lot. Oh, and not to mention the freaking vampires. Which these two characters are not going to mess with the. I don't think they'll mess with either of the DLCs. I'm not saying we won't necessarily go to Solstheim, but it doesn't make sense for either character to mess with the. Okay, like if these were going to be wider arching characters, and we wanted to, continue with them more long term, I think the idea of them each taking a, like Kalendor joining the Dawnguard to make his joining the Dawnguard, or joining the Dawnguard because Kelriel joined the Volkihar vampires to get stronger. Kalendor finding out and then using the Dawnguard as an asset to help defeat him. Because I do view them as two trains running down the same track heading for each other that are eventually going to meet up. We won't really have a good way to show that in game. I don't nearly have the editing skills to be able to make a video on that. There are people that do. I'm not one of them. So it'll probably just be some off-screen stuff. We'll manipulate one of their games and then go from there. Or it might not be as hard as I'm thinking. I don't know. I'll just have to mess with it and see what I can do.
All right, hand over your valuables, or I will gut you like a fish. Nice try. I am not going to ask again. Never should have come here.
Never should have come here. Hey, you were just trying to rob me. Didn't you want me to be here? Stupid. Okay. So, I think overall, Kelriel will be a more powerful character than Kalendor because Kalendor doesn't use magic. And Kelriel is also going to actively seek more power, whereas Kalendor wants to use his own means to be able to do what he needs to do. Oh, and shoot, the question that I kind of half trailed off on. Do you guys want to see me include more characters faster, or should I just focus more on these two um, before putting the third and fourth characters um, into effect? Because, like I said, they're gonna come in pairs, I think, and I know what the other two, the second pair is gonna be, or that's the plan anyway. What are we looking at for an episode here? Okay. I've really, it's crazy. It did not take me that long to get to Solid. This is a 30-minute episode, and I've gone from Solitude to nearly Fall Creek. Um,
That it? That your best?
okay, you're both dead. Again, wiping out bandits not because it's the right thing to do, but because they irritate him. Which I think that whole idea is very, very Tomura Shigaraki. At least I am caught up on My Hero. I haven't seen any of the like movies or anything, but I have watched all the way through the stopping point in season 7. I have not read the manga though, so don't spoil anything, please. But I think that whole idea of like they're in his way, so I've got to eliminate them by any and all means necessary is perfect. Going west, southwest. No, we're not. Well, we don't. We need to be going southeast. Very mixed up on the map. This will allow us to approach Helgen from a different direction, so the whole thing with Alduin, we can let that play, but they can be there basically at the same time, but not see each other. Kelril and Klindor, I mean. And I don't mind clearing out just random bandit encampments because obviously there's a very real possibility that they would just move back in anyway. Oh, they did it. Is there another one? Zombie. Oh, brain rot. Well, brain rot do. Here's Magica. 25 points for our Magica? That's crazy. We are headed for Fall Creek. He will be reporting back using couriers or magic or whatever. He'll be reporting back to the embassy, to Ellenwyn, I guess. I'm assuming she's kind of the one in charge of the embassy. So he will be reporting to her and that'll all happen off screen, and I'll just say, hey, you know, this is what she said, and we need to go do this now, and you know, all that stuff. But this is where we are going to wrap up episode number 1 of the Inquisitor here in Skyrim, our newest character, our newest Let's Play. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope y'all are excited for what is to come for Kelriel. If you are, please let me know. And like I said, tell me how you feel that the Thalmor would feel about the Forsworn from the angle that I have approached this with. I'm not here for your pro-Nord sentiments either. And also let me know if you want to go ahead and just see more characters come out. I've kind of got an idea of what I want some of the other ones to be, but I don't really have them formulated in my head as to how they're going to work. But the next 2 I do have for sure. And I know what will be involved in that. So, yeah, let me know on that as well. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. This is Friar Chuck saying, bye-bye.